Okay, I am going to assume for a moment that we've got, looks like some people joining us, because if you're like me this morning, or I guess this afternoon, maybe you're having some hardware issues because this is a brand new interface that I experienced for the first time on GoToWebinar. So as always, welcome, but we're going to take the first couple of minutes here to let those folks that may be having some technical difficulties, and since I did, I'm assuming that you guys might, that we'll just wait a couple of minutes to let everybody get through those issues, finish up any final calls that they were on, and jump on this session. It's going to be a quick one today, but it's going to be very, I think, useful information that you can use, and we're glad that you're attending with us today. But again, we're going to just not get started in earnest here for another minute or two because of the new technology issues and old technology issues. So hang on tight. All right, Robbie, I see. There you go, Robbie. You made it. That's because you're smarter than the average bear. Looks like we got some folks coming in here. Andrew with eWaste Plus. A guest. Love having guests here today. I'm Marissa with eScrap News. Got some folks joining up. I appreciate you guys getting on it with us today. Again, we're just kind of letting people who are having maybe some technology issues or finishing up some calls to just get a minute to get started. This is going to be a brief presentation anyway, certainly not going to run the full 45 that we typically do. This is kind of an in and out, get some quick news you can use based on some of the programs we've got running that have some application for you all as eScrap recyclers and ITAD service providers. So again, just hang on just another minute. We usually do 2 minutes, but I'm going to do 3 this time just because I know there's more people that have registered than are in our kind of panel, or that are in our holding booth here. And we'll get started with that here very, very soon. Forgive me, it's been a while since I've worn this headset. I did get a new machine, which has been giving me some fits, but it actually has a headset jack that works. So I wanted to get back to using this because this is one of our sustainer members had provided me this. This is Avid Products, that we do have a recycling program with them. And the quality is so great that I like to use it, but haven't been able to for a while since my old headset jack on the old laptop was busted. So now I'm back to using it. So thank you to Avid. And I think I've wasted enough time and moved through these 3 minutes as quickly as I can. So we're just going to go ahead and get started now. I know we'll have some other people joining us, but those that are on, thank you for coming to another edition of Terra Third Thursday webinars. This one is a bit unique in that I'm your co-host. Typically, I'm just kind of the presenter and kind of help people along, but I am co-presenting today with our partner at Evercyle, one of our allied members, Stephen Howser. Say hi, Stephen.
Good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. Still morning, it feels like.
So we've been doing a little bit of an Abbott and Costello routine for the last couple of weeks with some of our members on some meetings, and of course we shared a booth space. Howser ran sidecar with me at the eScrap conference a couple of weeks ago down in New Orleans when we announced this program, and then I guess the next week or so I did a little kind of state of the alliance presentation that I sent out to everybody, where I talked a little bit about this also, but this would be kind of our first opportunity to do the Terra Third Thursday and introduce everybody to our done with it program now as a reverse logistics platform. Many of you all know the program as being one of our kind of primary messaging systems for getting information out to the marketplace as to why certification matters and why being e-stewards and why being R2 is so important. But some of our recent moves within that program have provided us some opportunities that are directly relatable to you, your business, and your clients. So we're going to get all into that, but before we do, I just wanted to take a quick minute to do 2 things. One is to recognize some of our members that are renewing with us this month, and then give a quick introduction to my friend, Mr. Howser. But getting into that real quick, we do have, again, multiple membership levels within Terra. Our primary focus, of course, is our certified members. Those are the ones eastwards and R2. Our allied members, those organizations that provide the goods and services that you guys use every day, whether that's um, logistics services, or with Evercycle, the box program, or with, we have Blanco, many others that are in different categories within the industry that are really supporting us, supporting you all, and provide you guys with great products and services all the time. So always be sure to check our website, see who our allied members are, and when you have a preference, an opportunity to business with them, we'd encourage you to do so. And then the last piece, I mentioned one of them, AVID, our sustainer members. Those are the organizations that we get to come on board that are kind of joining our alliance and also talking about why certification matters, but also are the ones that utilize the products and services of our certified folks. It's an our opportunity to kind of do business development for the group, to bring opportunities to the table for you all. So we've got renewals in all those three categories this month. So first, our certified folks, Omega Recycling Solutions, which is our second member of all. They go back to when we started back in 2019. So we welcome them for another year. Colt Recycling, rejoining with us. Electronics Recycling Solutions, another Nashville-based provider that is actually very involved with providing opportunities for people on the autism spectrum. So we're glad to have them. Shupan renewed URT. I think I already made mention of Robbie, so thank you guys. And WT World Trading are all renewing this month. Allied members, we have NView Telematics and the Vested Group renewing with us. And then our sustainer, which we're very pleased to be doing another year with, is the Portland Timbers and the Portland Thorns, Major League Soccer out of Portland, Oregon. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're talking today about getting more in the door, how to launch your own mail-in program through the technology that we've been able, and partnerships we've been able to assemble through the Done With It program. And the most important part of that partnership and bringing that to you is our folks and members at Evercycle. So I have, again, my partner in crime here, Stephen Howser. If you could take a minute to just kind of introduce yourself and Evercycle, I'd appreciate that.
Sure. Thanks, Napoli. Stephen Howser. I'm Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at Evercycle. Joined Evercycle a little over a year ago. I spent about 3 years in ITAD on procurement and operations, and joined Evercycle because of the fact that it is something that if I had Evercycle when I was in operations, I'd probably still be in operations. It's an amazing tool. Basically, it's ITAD info all in one place on our SaaS platform. It partners enterprise with ITADs to get more devices, as well as we have an online quoting tool and online price books available. So very excited to partner with Napoli. We've been working together for months and months and months on multiple projects, and we figured we both have great products. So he wanted to scale Done With It, and we were ready to help him scale it. And now we've been able to bring these products out to market, and excited for the partnership. So appreciate the time.
All right. Well, thanks, Howser. So yeah, we're gonna jump right into it. So again, Done With It program is expanding. As you guys, the familiarity that you may have with it is that it's a mail-in recycling program. We have member facilities, actually 25 member facilities in the United States and Canada that are part of the program that we call our sponsors. That when somebody comes to our website, donewithit.org, and soon to be donewithit.com, because we just acquired that URL in the last week, they can order like a 10-pound recycling box, a 50-pound recycling box, up to 150 pounds, where they can mail that directly in. And based on their location, it goes to one of these 25 facilities to make sure we shrink those logistics as much as we can, make it as efficient as we can. So that program has been going on for several years. It's gotten a lot of attention in the news media. We appreciate, and it's really been our platform to get out into the marketplace, both for consumers and businesses, just to talk about why certification matters. And as we started, as this program's been going on for a while, we started to form some additional partnerships like those we have with Avid Headsets and others that are, again, got us to this point where we have a new program to talk with you about today. And basically it's a box program. It's a reverse logistics program. It's the ability to start getting more material in the door. So these are the kind of the questions we started asking Howser and myself to those that came and visited with us down at the eScrap eRenew conference in New Orleans, which was, hey, do you have a remote workforce or a client that does that you need to support, maybe getting devices back, on an ongoing basis? Uh, do you need a place to have an online returns platform? Somebody just go to your website, request a shipping label, get it sent in, very simple. Um, and if you are doing some of that, is that something you're doing manually? Is that something that we could automate for you? Because that's what the Done With It program was just, we're sending you instructions and a shipping label on how you can get material back to one of our certified recyclers. And now we're opening that opportunity up to everybody individually, so they can start getting material sent directly to them. And I want to continue on here. So again, as I mentioned, Avid was the first of that. Was the first kind of user of this, where our network was recycling these headsets. They are, schools, hotels. Actually, the hotel that we stayed in at eScrap was recycling their headsets, not these big ones, but the ones that you find at like a gym, the earbuds. This was the program that really got us in connection, Tara, and Done With It, with Howser and his team at Evercyle, was because we had the program, but we didn't have the efficient way to manage that process of somebody coming to our website and requesting the shipping label. That's what Evercyle had brought to the table. So why don't you tell us a little bit, Howser, about how that technology works and kind of what it does for the end user?
Sure. One of the biggest problems we found in ITAD, number one, is trying to keep all of your data in one spot. And everybody has so much tech debt. And we have a spreadsheet over here. Well, this system handles this system handles that information. And oh, by the way, someone else that has left the company was in charge of that, so we have to start all over. So with that in mind, that's how Evercycle has become a great partner with multiple ITADs as integrated service providers. And it basically allows them the way to easily have customer data put into the system by customers. And the nice thing is it enables them through a customer portal and data management on the customer side versus having all the manual tasks internally at your ITAD or your ITM or your R2B3 facility. So number one, it's a data acquisition tool. And as well, it completely automates all of your box programs, and basically it's a one-stop shop for incoming, outcoming. So that platform, we took pieces of it and integrated them to expand the Done With It program, and now it's scalable. Instead of someone having to do manual tasks, this is all completely automated, and it is an incredible time saver. So hopefully that
Yeah, so
helps.
I could vouch for that personally. So as as material starts coming in through this Avid program, where schools start sending their material in, where hotels are sending this material in, having to manually create these labels, do all this manual tracking, and give anticipation when things are coming, all that is taken care of through the back end that Evercycle provides. So that was kind of the first step. That was very cool. That was just like, all right, Tara and Done With It have solved a problem for ourselves. But what kind of was the next step was this opportunity that we had this summer with Pixera Global. It went from, an initial conversation to they were ready to move forward very quickly. And they are running a test program with Federal Express, who actually owns and operates a R2B3 facility in Lebanon, Tennessee, that has been exclusively working business to business. They wanted to see, hey, can we maybe get some consumer material in here, laptops, tablets, just from a test standpoint between now and mid-December, to see if there's a viable market for us to get into that piece of the business. So they needed a mechanism to be able to collect, and that's where Done With It came in. So we're collecting these materials on their behalf, creating the shipping labels, creating the instructions, and sending it directly back to their facility in Lebanon. So in addition to being able to do that, because it's Federal Express, and they gave us an incredible shipping rate. because Federal Express isn't doing the shipping, or they are doing the shipping, but they're not paying for the shipping. That's actually it's an unusual situation, but we're partnered with Pixera Global, and they're the ones that we have the contract with. So we're the ones that when shipping charges happen our end. So they gave us a really good rate. They gave us such a good rate, in fact, that we're seeing upwards of 50, 60% even more discounts on some of the ground shipping that we're getting quoted through our system. So that created the opportunity of, okay, if we can marry this really great Evercycle technology and the power of Terra's Done With It program to now provide some great shipping rates, could we provide our members the opportunity to create their own independent box programs just by utilizing our technology? So that's kind of what we've been talking with a lot of our members about over the last several weeks. I've got a lot of good conversations and a lot of good feedback and traction on this. And why we're having this session today is, if you're thinking about it, if you've been considering a box program, if you want to look at how you might be able to service your customers in a little bit different way, how you might be able to get more material in the door and maybe more material in the door faster, because instead of waiting for that full Gaylord to fill up, they can just start sending you things as they are being retired and then being able to get in that process quicker. This is an opportunity for everybody to kind of look at it. So for an end user, and that's really kind of what this is all about, is making sure that your customer, your end user, their employee, or whomever is going to be accessing the system and sending material to you, that it's all seamless and simple. Mm-hmm. So for demonstration purposes, we're going to pull up here. This is the Pixera Global kind of landing page. It's specifically branded, pixeraglobal.donewithit.org. We've got it set up so not only could you do it as a Done With It program, which we think some people will do, but not everybody, but then we also have it so it can be white labeled. So this becomes pixeraglobal.yourcompany.com. And that's where we see a real power in this for you all. But this is kind of what the customer sees. They come to the website, they have the instructions, they see it where it says request shipping label. They click on that, and that pops, the form. So this is where you collect all of your, this is all customizable. This is where you collect all your customer data. Any additional, instructions that might be needed. Other questions that you might want to ask. And Howser, you guys do this for a lot of different customers. So why don't you kind of maybe talk about some of the things that people are putting in here to make it, to customize this to their needs?
Sure. A lot of times, depending on the customer base, the type of customer that you're white labeling this for, they may have data that is incredibly valuable to them. So it can be customer-driven data collection. It can be internal at your ITAD or your facility that you want to gather that is of value to your shareholders, your investors, or simply your company as a whole. So that's why we've created this little area that as you are collecting devices or scrap, you can learn more about that customer, whatever data points you want to customize, and that will enable you to then continue to grow that relationship just from a single or even just a couple points of data. So we found that is a very, very valuable tool that the end customer or the end consumer is providing valuable data within this program as well. So,
and for some of you all, I'm not sure how this kind of translates on your side of the screen, but so on this questionnaire, it's service number or serial number. Because they're collecting laptops and tablets. They want to see if we can get some serial numbers on the devices even before they come in. Mm-hmm. We're asking them about how long they've had the device. Do they have any others? How did they hear about the program? So they're trying to get some marketing feedback. This is not only does it make it simple for the end user, because I just a couple of clicks, I'm in here, I'm filling out my information, I'm sending in my request, and boom, within a couple of seconds, I'm getting my shipping label and instructions back to me through my email. But all of this data is getting collected on the back end. So seamlessly from your perspective as the ITAD or eScrap provider, you can look at the system. You're going to know what's coming in. You know how many orders have been taking place. You can see what the material that you've collected. And based on all the questions that you put on here on the back end, you know exactly kind of what you're going to be expecting. Mm-hmm. So it's then on the back end, you've got there's ESG reporting, there's client portals. What are some of the other things on the back end that they could get into as they start really kind of taking ownership of this program?
Sure. Yeah. With the Done With It product, we've expanded some, I guess you'd say, out of the box features with the reverse logistics, and then taking a step past your Done With It products that we're showing today. We do have additional services that are available on the Evercycle platform, white labeled client portals. We are talking today about the Done With It program, which does have a white label capability to encapsulate your entity, or you can also white label it for other customers. Say you have a school district and the school district wants to run a Take It Back program. You can have your Done With It product white labeled for your end customer, which is an incredibly valuable tool. Say the school district wants to promote it community wide to do a drive, it would have their logo, their information, their data collection, all customized on that. If they want to take that even further and create their own client portal, utilize audit reporting for their buybacks or sellbacks, customize client workflows, so each district or each customer can have their own customized workflows, as things down to if it is a West Coast office and you have an SLA that needs to have devices back in 2 days, it can be a default that anything on the East Coast is a second day air. Anything Midwest is, regular ground, as well as the West Coast, to make sure that the SLA is hit and you don't lose out on devices not getting to your facility in time. ESG scorecard reporting, everybody's talking about it, and there is a tool that's built in that automatically calculates that. Creating steady state box programs. We're talking about box programs here. If we take it further with the Evercycle platform, it'd be boxes out, boxes in. Reclaim, break and fix, basically steady state programs. As I mentioned earlier, the online quoting tool and the price book, that is all something that is customizable as well. And then add-on services. Everybody is talking about services. And that's not just asset tagging and provisioning anymore. It is how is it that we can create steady state programs for our customers, like Napoli said, so you don't have to wait for the full box. You don't have to wait for the pallets or the gaylords to be filled up. Everything loses value over time. So the quicker they can get devices to you, the more value they will get in return. So very exciting.
Yeah. So this is kind of how it looks then for you all as our eScrap and ITAD service providers. We have this broken down into 3 categories, and it's the copper, silver, and gold levels. It's based basically on functionality and pricing. So, our copper level is our most efficient pricing. You're going to be utilizing that discount that we've negotiated through Federal Express to get upwards of 60% off on some of the on-ground shipping. But you're going to be branding your portal Done With It. So any material that goes into your portal, just for clarification, goes directly back to you. If it's your portal, the material goes to you. But you're branding it Done With It. So maybe it is a consumer product like headphones or something else that you've got a relationship with a customer for, or that you want to expand, your marketing and sales into different areas. If you create a take back program, it can be branded with Done With It. Or you can go to the silver option, which is you brand it with your own name. So it becomes yourcompany.com. That is, we expect a lot of, especially the business to business applications for this to be that way. But, you've got options here. And then and still with the silver level, still using that negotiated rate on ground shipping that Tara has been able to get through our partnership with Federal Express. Gold is when you get to the level of, we've really got, our shipping down pat. We got great rates with multiple carriers, and we want to use our shipping, account numbers. We're going to be gold. Basically what you're going to be doing is you're white labeling the system, and you're getting this as a software as a service. So you're basically tying into the Evercycle platform, and kind of leaving behind the shipping material, the shipping rates that Tara's getting for you to the side, because you've already got that covered. So we feel this is a pretty, efficient way to do it. 3 basic levels to be able to get in here, get your box program running, and have an opportunity to be able to engage with your customers, perhaps in a way you haven't been able to in the past. And we can do this very quickly. I know I can tell you because most of this is going to be on the backs of our friends over at Evercycle. They've really discounted the onboarding process and the training process to get you guys up going quickly. Some of the key, I think the important thing for this is to consider for a lot of folks that are considering doing it and maybe like, well, I don't quite have the customer just yet that would utilize this, or I haven't been in conversation with a customer. I encourage you just to kind of get it going. It's kind of like when you have that 220 outlet in your garage. It's like you don't know if you're going to need it, but if the power goes out and your generator needs to be plugged in, you got to power your house off a generator for a couple of days. You'd be happy that you put the extra investment to get that extra plug put into your garage. Have it ready, get it turned on. So when you do have that opportunity to be creative with a new idea or have a client need, you can instantly make a decision and turn something on. We've got here, of course, at the end of this presentation, contact information. You can scan this QR code. It will take you where you can sign up for a one-on-one or a meeting with Howser and I to review this offline with your team. So we encourage you guys to do that. And I'm going to just, because I do this, I yammer. I'm going to stop yammering for a second, and I'm going to go out there and ask if there's anybody that has any questions that they'd like to submit. And I'm going to try to find them in this new interface that has got me a little bit confused. No questions yet. Is anybody in the chats? So Jake, you look like you raised your hand. Have you got a question? And I apologize, friends. This is a new interface on GoToWebinar that just launched, and it's extremely different than the last one. All right, well, my apologies, everybody. Again, the intention of this was really just to quickly run through it with you all. To let you know that we've got this new program that Done With It is now expanding. It's not just the consumer e-scrap program that we've been getting a lot of news and clicks about. It's now a program that every single one of our members can take advantage of in some form or fashion, to create a box program, to expand a box program, to open up some new opportunities to get new material in the door. We've got multiple levels based on what your needs are, and we'd like to have, we'd love to have a conversation with you all to kind of walk you through how you might take advantage of it here in the coming weeks. We are incentivizing everybody to kind of do this quick. We'd love to see some early adopters, and we're going to incentivize early adopters by making this very attractive from an onboarding and setup standpoint, where those fees, because this program that you're getting through Evercycle is a very robust platform that they're doing a lot for our members here by discounting it significantly. Oh, Jake, you try to raise your hand? Let's see. It looks like I got a question in here. How does this work with FedEx Cure? Good. Yeah. So that is a good question, Jake. So the Done With It portion, the kind of our expansion of it, is focused exclusively on ground shipping. So for your instance, when trying to plug in a different shipper, I'm going to pass that along to Howser. We don't have that specifically priced differently. Our discounts are based on ground. So anything else would go through your existing shipping contracts, and I'll let Howser kind of explain how that might work, utilizing different shipping profiles within your system.
Yeah, definitely. We can I'm not the product guy, so I definitely need to check with our team on that. We have not talked really about any type of FedEx secure options in the Done With It product, but we would be happy to check into that for you and see if we can get that integrated either under your account number, or if it's something where we would look into partnering with Terra and their FedEx rates. But Napoli, if you can make sure to get Jake's information, we will definitely check on that. See how that.
Yeah, I know, Jake. So,
I think we talked to him in New Orleans, didn't we?
Maybe I think you might have. I
Okay.
don't think I ran across our friends at Sadolf when we were there. Anyhow, but it's a good point, Jake. The more and more kind of inquiries we get and more opportunities that we get from people to do things a little bit different way. Hey, we'd like to have, FedEx Freight. We'd like to have FedEx Secure, other products beyond ground. As we start getting people to utilize this product, we'll be able to go back to Federal Express and say, hey,
Mhm.
we've got a lot of interest in all these different areas. Can you open up the discounts beyond just ground to some of these other areas and pass along those savings to you? And that's really what the bottom line of this program is. To a certain extent, it's that we have negotiated this really incredible rate through Federal Express. And if we could pass that ability for you guys to save, create your own box program and have material get sent to you all direct, we look at that as a big win in terms of just Terra delivering some tangible benefits back to our members. So we are
Right.
really pleased to be able to do this. Um, just kind of keep my eye out here for any other questions that roll in. Otherwise, I think we're going to close this up here, Howser. I think this whole idea was to be quick, brief, and be done with it.
Uh-huh. That was bad. At least you're laughing, right?
Oh yeah, I got to I got to entertain myself. All right. So again, thank you everybody. If you have any questions about it, contact me. We'll send links out to this recorded presentation here in an hour or so. But in the interim or beyond, you know how to get a hold of me. Please call me, contact us. Love to talk to you a little bit more about what this program might look like for you. And with that, I will say adios, and we look forward to seeing you all again next third Thursday.
Thanks,
So
everybody.
everybody take care. Thanks.
Thanks, Napoli.
Thanks, Hauser.